Hello and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is Dave and I will be your keeper of arcane lore for this session of Call of Cthulhu. And Jackson's got a very unpleasant, I don't know what that is, I don't know what it's directed at. I don't like it and I can only apologize to the viewers at home. Today we are continuing our playthrough of Regency Cthulhu. Is it?
I'm just happy to be here, right?
Looks like there's a gun just out of frame. Today we are continuing our playthrough of Regency Cthulhu, and you can get your own copy of this book over at chaosium.com. You can find all of our VODs collected on the Chaosium YouTube channel, and we do stream live each Friday over on Twitch. You can check out our schedule there. I want to give a thank you to Roll20 and Dreamscape for being tools which we use to improve our game. And without further ado, we'll return to the scenario at hand, reintroduce our investigators, and get back into it. So last session, things kind of came to head. It quite literally began with a bang as Miss Wentworth shot Miss Radcliffe's brother, and then Miss Radcliffe attempted to sell being taken hostage and departed with Baxter, the sort of second in command of the Blistered Heels. The party split, and during the investigation, Mr. Potton put a few puzzle pieces together and realized that perhaps Miss Radcliffe wasn't exactly what she seemed. Miss Radcliffe returned to the woods and sort of seized control of the gang, and in looking for a new place to camp, came across an ash tree, which he believed to be on top of one of these sort of cairn stones, and has commanded her goons to begin unearthing it. Elsewhere, Mr. Potton watched as Miss Wentworth had big sip of dark juice and went to the slumber zone, where things...
And big sippy.
Big sip, where things
God.
immediately went poorly as found some sort of like spectral figures, a blasted, familiar, but now strange forest, and a deep, sort of absent presence that beseeched her to release it. Elsewhere, Mr. Potton, sort of back in the waking world, Mr. Potton received a ransom note from Miss Radcliffe, knew full well it was at least 80% bullshit, but in going into town to investigate it, has found the local constables, what will have you, who have decided that it's high time he goes to meet the local judge, Mr. Asher, as his own hand, his signature was found on the letter that said, "Don't come into the cellar, everything down here's fine. There's not two sleeping people in a strange pool of glowing black liquid and, covered over tunnel and that sort of thing." So, where we resume, we will pick up with Miss Radcliffe in the woods, Miss Wentworth in the dream dimension, Mr. Potton just now being taken away. I'll ask you to all reintroduce your investigators and give us a little context of how we see them now several episodes into the scenario. Let's begin with Jackson.
Oh yeah, we're still down art, so I still have the reigning crown.
Good control.
You first. It's not that great. I don't rate it. Hi, I'm Jackson. Until recently, I've been playing Miss Jane Radcliffe, who was being played by Molly Rowlands, but she doesn't quite know it yet. But Jane Radcliffe is dead. She has ceased to be believed in. She's like a fairy in that way. But she's still in a situation. She's still got a situation to get herself out of, and she's still thinking about how she feels about everything that's happened. But if she can keep control of the Blistered Heels gang, stop anyone from dying, and make a bit of money for the 3 months of work, that'll be a success.
All that a win.
Yeah.
Well, and
2 out of 3 won't be bad.
We'll just have to say which ones can still be actioned. Let's nip across to Jim.
Hello, yes, I am Jim, and I am playing George Potton. Still the most eligible bachelor in town, but becoming less eligible by the second, and I really need to stop this reputation slide quickly. Getting arrested is not going to help, but there is a certain bad boy element I'm hoping I can swing through. How does that go? Is there like a skater boy thing in the Regency era?
I think we've mentioned a bad boy element several times, and I do not believe is very period appropriate. Actually, I think it began with talking about the carriages and like the two-person style. So I think there's a dark horse element to it. Yeah. See if you can capitalize on it.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Like, you have to have wealth though. Still, like you can be a bad boy if you're still wealthy and able to support your family, which is where the question mark hangs.
Yeah, you're not a really bad boy. Just like you're bad, like bad, not like
Just,
oh that's bad.
not a good boy.
Yeah.
All right, let's move across to Alex.
Hi, that's a good segue. Bad as in not good at things, as opposed to bad as in dark horse. Yeah, no. I am Alex, and I am playing Miss Emma Wentworth, the only Wentworth sister. Something I possibly should have considered the familial implications of before taking Anne Big Sippy and slipping into the dream world, where I have just witnessed the remains of a small child's soul get ripped up into the stratosphere and dropped like jelly.
Yeah.
There may be no Wentworth sisters soon, which something I probably should have considered, but here we are.
Poor parents are abroad somewhere and just get first letter saying, all right, Georgiana's gone, but I'm fine. I'm staying here, and I'm good news. I'm getting married. Next letter. She's in the dream space. We cannot get her out. We don't know what's happening.
Next letter, there are no Wentworth sisters.
This
They're probably,
the line
they're
is
probably
done.
in, like, the Riviera or something, having a great time.
I like to imagine they went to visit von Dijkstra or whatever to set up the engagement, and now they're like, well, with no daughters left, I guess one of us will have to marry.
Fantastic. All right, I am looking at 3 very disparate plots and wondering where we begin. I think let's start with James, with Mr. Potterton, traveling to meet Mr. Roger. No, I love it. This is genuinely, I love small party games, like a group of like 3 or 4 investigators. That's why we like to keep the stream kind of small, because you can scatter it, you can go and do different things and see what's happening. We were mentioning last session, right, that because Jackson was away 1 week, and then coming back, we never had a chance to debrief. So there's like whole swaths of information that Miss Radcliffe has not had the chance to be caught back up on. So we'll just see how that unfolds. All right.
I have just changed my character name on the chat and character sheet, because I think the jig is truly up.
I agree.
I believe so.
If I was a bit more on it,
you can call me Molly, not even Miss Rollins.
I was hoping to. I should have updated the overlays too, so that we could swap it across.
Oh yeah,
but I didn't.
Oh, well.
So, and I could, if I boot
up, you should have like the hotkey like that on the fly.
I could try and boot up Illustrator while you guys are talking at one point, but my computer might explode. So I still might. We'll see if I'm feeling.
Maybe try and animate an effect where the letters go.
Okay, all right.
There's like explosions and stuff.
Yeah, I'll work on
we'll
that.
just do that, James.
You guys entertain yourselves. Okay. So Mr. Potterton, you are being quite publicly led through town. Sorry. They are trying to be polite to you. You are still a member of the upper class. So they are treating you with some semblance of respect, but you are being escorted away to Charlton Abbey, which is actually quite close to Stornley House, where one of these canstones exists. As you're brought through town, the 2 constables will walk you through. You can still remain on your horse, and then take you to meet with Mr. Asher. Is there any preparation you want to make, or shall we watch you travel and then resume as you arrive?
So last session I did a little bit of basically trying to prep myself for this as such. Getting all of my ducks in a row, trying to do any kind of like prior work. To set the tone, I have 2 avenues. My hopeful way is that I can come in here and I can basically say, listen, I'm completely on your side. I would like to figure out why everything's gone wrong too. I came in and people are asleep, and I don't want people to stumble down and get infected by falling asleep. Yep. So I said, don't go into the basement. And I went to come and went home to prepare myself to get to Mr. Asher when I was attacked. So I've been trying to help, but stuff keeps happening.
I like the idea.
If that fails, I'm gonna try and toggle to throwing my dad under the bus as to take the reputation.
And
I
honestly,
think is the to set the angles.
kind of laid a bit of that, then you just returned to, where was it, London, where you were doing your banking work, and let it lie. All right.
Yeah.
So escorted by the two stand-in constables, you arrive at Alton Abbey. Now, it's a nice estate. It is smaller than your own, but yours kind of has troubles that come with that of trying to maintain the land. You had big chunks of the property you no longer maintain as your wealth has diminished. They have kept theirs in prime order, and as you are received by staff at the entrance, and every effort is made to make you feel a welcomed guest, but that looming feeling of being here to be judged lingers across the space. You'll see evidence of all three of Ash's children, that being his eldest daughter, Eleanor, and the younger Julia, both of whom were present at the ball the Northlakes held last year. There is also Master Philip, who is the heir to the family. He's a kind of snooty child who tends to avoid those that he sees as under him, and given his family's kind of recent elevation, he now sees you as a little bit under him. But the import of this is that none of them have been affected by the sleeping sickness. And as you come in here, you're seated, the staff attends to you. It does feel, how can these two things coexist? Your house has felt this so much. Others have become drawn into it. But here the nobility, or the gentry, stay above it all in their comfortable nests. You'll wait for a short moment, and then Mr. Asher will receive you in his study. He is a handsome, sandy-haired man of mid-40s who has clearly wished to dedicate his life to the church, but found himself the eldest heir, and then now finds himself the judge. As you come into his study, you can see that there are a collection of old Bibles and different pieces of, I want to say memorabilia, collectibles from the church that he enjoys and studies. And across to one side, directly next to a window that looks out on his gardens, you can see a heavy table with 3 Bibles open as he's making his own notes to it. This is clearly his passion, and even serving as judge, kind of the most important person in Tarryford, that's not what he wants to do. As he receives you and bids you sit, he turns away from the window and will, I suppose, ask you to explain your side of the story first.
Of course. I launched pretty much right in, stopping for a lot of pleasantries. I had a decent charm and persuade score. I do a bit of, there's some kind of greeting, I presume, that is a little bit of God bless kind of thing. I put myself in as best stead as I can, lean into the situation as it is, and try and basically go, look, I've been helping out Dr. Parsons, helping people with bits of stuff in town, trying, in concert with Miss Wentworth. I tried to help the local tavern.
I suppose I'm sorry. I'll pause you for a moment there. I'll ask with some more direction. I've received a letter from Abigail Parsons just this morning, alerting me that her husband, the doctor, has fallen into slumber. Now, I know that they are praying over a young man in the church who has fallen asleep as well, and I understand that there are some people scattered throughout Tarryford who have been beset by some strange sleeping illness. Now, the doctor looking into this, I understand, but Mr. Potton, I ask about your connection to all of this. How have you found yourself entangled in this web?
Well, you are right. It would not be traditional for me to assist the doctor, but I was introduced to the matter through a mutual friend of ours, Reverend Jennings. Reverend Jennings does have a role in comforting the ill, and unfortunately was called on to perform funeral rites for one of the previously afflicted. I keep well with Reverend Jennings, and as a result, decided to lend what aid I could out of friendship and duty to the town.
I wasn't aware that one of them had passed. This gets rather more serious. Is Jennings, where is he now?
Jennings is in the company of Dr. Parsons at the moment.
He's keeping, well, that's good. He'll pray over him and deliver him back to us as swiftly as he can. It seems, well, it's all unfortunate timing, isn't it? All these events happening at once.
Timing is unfortunate, Mr. Asher. I wish to have informed you earlier, but as I made allusion to, I was attacked before I could.
You were attacked?
That's right. Upon returning to my home after leaving the tavern, preparing to make notice to you and visit you on the morning, my estate was attacked by a group of thieves I believe have been staying at the tavern.
You believe thieves are here in Tarryford, brigands staying openly in taverns and then creeping to folks' estates to attack them? Sorry, not believe. That's what happened to you.
I had to slay one by mine own hand.
Mr. Potton, you tell a rather thrilling story. I ask, is this man that you slayed, is he still on your estate?
Yes, his body is. Thrilling. I'm no Captain Stone. I want none of this matter brought to me. I hope only to return to London to continue my work and to make sure that Tarryford is well and kept. But
trust me, I understand well the concept of responsibility thrust upon you. None of us wished for this, but here we are, and we must deal with the hand we're dealt. God has willed us to this space, and believe you me, we must be those best suited to it.
I agree with that. I can show you the man. I can explain more details for you, and
your word is enough. I don't need to see the body. If you say it happened, then so it did.
In fact, if you want proof of more of them, and I will show the ransom note I received, I think is a pretty good piece of evidence.
This Jane Radcliffe, she was staying with you.
And I will have to ask your discretion here, Mr. Asher. I'm afraid I've been taken for a fool. I've been shown to be unwise and, well, need I say more?
Mr. Potton, it is not for you or I to judge you. That is God's work. Tell me the facts, tell me what happened, and let us see what we can do to put this matter to rest. You say you were taken for a fool. What I had heard from my wife, she says that you had taken in Miss Radcliffe and grown quite close with her. I see that she's been taken by brigands. That's unfortunate. Yes, deeply, but this sum, that seems within your expenses, and I can organize for the constabulary to lay some ambush that we can retrieve her and return her to you.
Word spreads fast. Is this like a rumor that's sprinted around town that quickly?
No, that the letter lays out the ambush, but the fact that you've been there for months, you've been staying with the Pottertons, right. And definitely and Mr. Potton is, as Jamie says in the opening of every episode, the most eligible bachelor. The two of you have been seen walking about town and things. That was part of your scheme.
I just meant the ransom. Is the ransom gone out?
No, yeah, Potton just shared it. He shared the note.
I wasn't listening.
I have the letter.
We'll cut this.
We'll zoom in. We'll slow it down.
Would that it be so simple, but I'm afraid there's more to it. And I play pretty open at this point, so I will unveil the connection that I suspect between Miss Radcliffe and the bandit that attacked me.
I am going to ask you to make a social roll here.
Yep.
I think
you have no evidence.
What happens almost immediately, James, is Mr. You know, we were talking about like the bouts of cringe. As soon as you start talking about this, Mr. Asher goes like, oh, like, dude, don't
Yep.
tell me this. You need to button that shit up, buddy.
Yep, no, that's completely
This is
fair. What would you like? What, would you
go
like charm
to
or
a
persuade?
church and tell them.
Yep.
I can see. I think charm seems more in your nature, but I can see persuade as well.
I'll go with charm. I think I was trying to lay on the charm. Let's see how we go. That is a success. I can luck it to a hard if that would. I can luck it to a hard. Just.
No. That's enough to get through. I would say that like he really does go like, oh, don't. Come on, man. Get your shit together. Keep your house in order. He even like threw you a couple bones. Like your family can pay for the ransom. We'll just have like everyone benefits from pretending the Pottertons have their shit together. If you start airing out your laundry, people will start to realize that this whole gentry thing is a bit bullshit.
Here's what I'm hoping. I asked for a handkerchief at one point, and I really just, it's because, you know, like you said, roles that we're pulled into, I really unload a lot on him so that if he has to vocalize my crimes, he's gonna have to hopefully do the same, you know, like really just kick the buck down the line a little bit.
He really wanted to serve in the Chantry and stuff. And so there is actually, he's reasonably good at like hearing you out and like providing an ear. He has a couple of very appropriate psalms that I do not have to hand that suit the thing. And he is a reasonable person on burden yourself too. What you do realize though is he isn't a particularly good judge. He's not like taking action yet. He's not coming to terms, and you actually feel a little bit this conversation isn't totally out of hand. You could steer this in a direction you wish to. That said, he will come to a conclusion eventually, and this is possibly risky to try and, you know.
Well, if he starts mentioning psalms, I might angle for the conversation to turn into the direction of prayer for the fountain emptied. The Anglican psalm that I mentioned offhand a couple of sessions ago, that there is a fountain thing, and try and steer it back to, hey, so what did you guys find in the basement? Because we need to talk about how that could be the source of the sleeping sickness and bring things back towards the focus.
Hell yeah. So as you get to that, that's where things get a bit more serious. Now, to reiterate, the two of you found Tom and Dickie in the thing asleep with the like entrance to these subterranean tunnels leaking black ichor open. You sealed them rudimentarily. You laid some tarps on the grounds and you set them to the side. You went upstairs, closed the door, and not wanting it disturbed until you had a chance to return, signed and sealed a letter saying everything down there's fine on my name. Now that has been found to be, unfortunately, like just a brazen lie, you know, like there's no kind of getting around it, and on some level you will need to answer for that. These two people were also in your charge, and I know it's Miss Wentworth that actually paid and sent them, but your stamps on all of it. So navigating that is difficult. Do you have, I mean, beyond just like we wanted to be careful about it, do you have a way to, like, if you can offer something up, if you can, you know.
I think that I have the plan to be able to throw my as I mentioned, throw my father under the bus, who is established being a little crazy. The other angle I might be able to go is basically blaming the brigands that are staying at the tavern and making some kind of thing around that. But I think that my angle is probably, I even probably do a bit of like, you know, ultimately I don't care about what happens to me because, oh, we just have to figure out and make sure that the town is safe at the minute. And I try to lean into the like, let's resolve this aspect once we can deal with the sickness. There's the fountain, there's the doctor. Send me back out on the case, Chief. You're the judge, you make the call.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna ask you to make another social roll. I think persuade. In this instance, you're actually trying to sort of like balance the scales in your favor or direct this in some way.
Completely. Do I have? I don't think I have anything at the minute offering me a bonus. So, does any of the preparation that I've done, or is that sort of what's permitting me?
It's kind of getting you in the space. What I actually should have done to get us in this would have been actually an etiquette roll, probably to like set the whole tone of everything. So, could you go and give me an etiquette roll slightly retroactively, and this could partly into a bonus or possibly a penalty if things go particularly.
But your reputation roll at some point, because it feels like you're using your reputation to try to fix your reputation. But the thing about reputation is if you don't have it and you try to rely on it, it makes it worse.
Yeah. I think we're going to do etiquette to open, and then reputation will be coming out of all of this, the hit that you take, because I think that could possibly. That's good though.
Success in the etiquette.
You're able to kind of find your way through here. You have a sense. You have the lay of the land. You kind of know where you stand a little bit. Go ahead and give me a persuade roll. I'll give you a. All right, let me set it first before you roll. I think you can take a bonus dice because you have done some preparation to going into this with a plan. I do think this is a hard test though. You have your like stamp is on this. You have mentioned like the brigands and you had to slay one recently. The woman in your care has been abducted. Whether things are not good for George. And trying to push this in any way is going to be difficult.
Here we go. Okay, failure first, bonus die. Ugh, no, I can get it down to a.
You're at it. 15.
Yeah, actually no, I can't. It's a fail, I think.
You try and push it one way or the other, but eventually you do have to basically roll with the punches. I think the most significant hit is going to be towards your reputation. Ultimately, you're going to need to answer for some of this. Your name was put to it, and word is going to get out about this. Genuinely, I'm not fully sure on how the Regency, crime... I don't think you're going to be arrested or anything. There may be some, And even, as far as, paying, you didn't hurt anyone, necessarily. It's just your name that's been attached to everything. At this point, we'll have you make a reputation roll, and I think the very real risk of sense, and I'm going to apply a pretty heavy reputation hit on this.
Makes sense.
And at the risk of censored, you may be outside of society for some time.
Drum roll. Oh, the fail.
Oh, it only just came through. Okay, I think it's going to be a big hit. So he basically decrees that you goofed it. You really dicked this one. And word will spread on that. He's going to share that publicly, and this is the Potton, and the Pottons are owning it. The persuade was probably that pin it on the father kind of strategy a little bit. So unfortunately that's out of play. And your father's going to get hit by your whole family's going to be a casualty in this. It's really hurt your prospects. He probably mentions that. It's a real shame too, as some of your, you were one of your younger sisters was looking to be married. This is, unfortunately our actions have consequences and you must pay the piper. I believe this
public decree is that you goofed it.
Yes, that is right.
Let it be known that in the town of Tarryford, in the year of our Lord, 1814, Mr. George Potton,
the most eligible bachelor in town, done goofed.
Hereby goofed it.
I am genuinely torn between this being... So the sample consequences have a very serious infraction, for example, making a false accusation about something serious, licentious behavior or defaulting on one's creditors, or a major infraction, that being the one above, which is defaulting on creditors and fleeing the country, public drunkenness and debauchery, getting caught doing one of the following: murdering someone or being found guilty of murder. You did kill someone, but they were a brigand, and that'll come to light. Or having sex outside of wedlock. So I think I'm between very serious and major.
Spicy.
I agree.
I
think it's very serious. So could you go ahead and lose a D10 for your reputation, please?
Oh, and roll 1d10. Here we go.
I like it.
Ooh,
nice.
All right. Does that bring you into being censored? That being 1/5 of your total reputation. I'm going to do it for basically this scenario.
I don't think it does. Genuinely, the Potton name is very good.
It's reasonably solid.
I have currently 53 reputation. So a loss of 9 is going to bring me down to
44.
44.
Do you know what you began with?
A fifth of 50 is 10, right? Unless I'm completely crazy, or is that a?
But you're not 50. You started higher.
Where you started.
Yeah.
I think I started at 55.
Okay. That'd be 11.
Because I've only
right?
lost 2 and then I regained 1. So I'm trying to maths.
You've lost 2.
It might dink me right on. It's right on the end.
So
I'll have
11 points from 55
Yeah,
is
that-
44.
so that will be
What are you? 44?
44 currently.
You have
yes.
exactly hit it. So you are going to be sensitive.
we
And
go.
I think with that massive hit, it applies. So I'm going to read out what that means quickly. So you are going to basically have a penalty die on social tests, and you are effectively banished from society for this short duration. So I think what this looks like is him you need to leave, you need to lay low. Effectively being seen in Tarryford will be a bad thing. Calling upon someone else, like you had a idea of going to Stornley House or the North Lakes once this gets there, will all be significantly harder. And it's a kind of, not even lay low, but wait until you can rebuild yourself. You need to take good actions. And while mechanically this is your reputation, NPCs don't carry it, this is your name, the Potton. So this pretty much extends to your entire family as well. And as soon as this gets back, it's going to be they will feel the effects most ardently.
Dang. No, yeah,
Marianne will
I
not
think,
be pleased.
I think that
Bugger.
all the same, basically, George is thinking maybe this is where the bleed can stop. At least it's pinned here. For anyone to go deeper might involve a bunch of stuff, but we'll see how we go. All right, I take my drubbing most politely. I think I think George isn't even particularly thinking about how it's making him feel at the minute as much as like trying to play the chess game of like, how do I now probably got to get out to the woods.
So that's the other side.
That's the one place where there's no society, and I can still try and help this sickness thing.
Genuinely. You have raised a few concerns, and he's going to act on them. Unfortunately, with the failed persuade and things, it's a little out of your hands, but he does tell you some of the things he's going to do. The Tarryford Inn is going to be closed for the duration. He's going to send people down there, and they're going to brick that thing up. Whatever it is, covering it enough ought to stop that. Out into the woods, if there are brigands, he's going to send one of the constables to see the body that you slew, and then they're going to go into the woods to try and find them. That might be in the next day or so. There is a woman that's been taken hostage. You're saying she was running some kind of scheme. All the same, they're demanding that you bring money the next day to meet with her and receive her. They're going to have constables there to pick that person up as well. Again, constables is a lot of the time just people that they grab and say, you will do this. There's a couple of like regular ones, like Ruddle, who you met, who escorted you here. They can also just, I think, basically like deputize folks to get out there and have a whack.
They're volunteers, I think, traditionally.
Yeah.
They're like volunteers who serve for a year or so.
Oh,
and
okay,
rotate around.
perfect.
It's a posse. It's a sheriff
Yeah,
situation.
exactly. And they're going to go and have a look out into the woods to see if they can find these other. As far as the sleeping sickness, he's going to prey on it more. He will get in touch with Reverend Choke, who has the boy in hand, make sure that anyone else who's sleeping is brought. He's actually probably going to say, all right, if Dr. Parsons fallen asleep, then that has kind of failed. We need to go back to the classics, have everyone who's sleeping brought together, bring them into the church. Reverend Choke can take this under control, and we will, bend our heads and let the Lord deliver us from this agony. And yeah, so that will all probably happen over the next day or two. As you are let back out, it's early afternoon. You have the evening.
Well, I think it's a case of back to the house. Get my Dark Knighting gear on and go riding into the woods.
I will say, looking at just so if you look at the map here and move it across, so lovely viewers can see too. Yep, you are here at what is it? Alton Abbey, which is where Asher lives. Number 5 there is Stornley House. You are quite close if you wanted to look in this and try and outrace your reputation. It will be delivered quickly, but you have only just been basically told not to go and do anything. But if it's a burn all bridges thing, you could just try and outrace it. You're not necessarily any closer to Pendlehaven Woods than going home. They're kind of equivalent, but you could head down that way too.
I think I can see the Stormley House angle, but logistically, I don't know. Like, even if I get in there and take the draught, all that's going to happen is I'm going to fall asleep, and that, I'm not going to be in a particularly good place to do it. I don't have any in at Stormley House beyond just kind of sneaking in or trying to temporarily outpace. I think that it's much better to go for I kind of did succeed a check, unless I'm mistaken, against the witch, and being in the woods is probably going to help me get a little bit closer to Jane as well. So I think that's probably the best angle for me.
Okay.
I don't know. It worked okay for Martin Freeman in season 1 of Fargo. No way out. Just knock yourself out and be the victim.
Right into a wall. Jackson, did you finish that season? Did you watch the
I
end
did. I
of it?
watched season 1 and I didn't go on because season 1 was so good.
It's amazing.
Self-disappointment, so I didn't watch the rest.
It's amazing. Well, the main thing was it went downhill from there. Things got worse.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. So you head home. As you go through Tarryford, you feel like you can already see the whispers of your reputation downfall spreading. You pass, the doors are closed, but you pass a number of your creditors and the people whom you have debts with, and you can feel their pens scratching as they come to claim what is owed. And it feels like the weather turns to match your mood as clouds begin to gather even on this summer day. And by the time you're leaving Tarryford and heading home, the rain is beginning to fall.
When I'm out in a little bit of a private spot, I stop and angrily kick a tuft of dirt and then bend down and pick it and put it back in place and keep walking.
Actually, I'm gonna do very quickly. Could you make a luck roll for me as you go through Tarryford?
Sure. Luck's not looking great at the minute, but we'll go for it. Fumble.
Okay. All right. Given I directed that, I would not be too. Basically, you're outpacing your reputation. People are closing their doors off to you.
Someone sees me kicking the tuft of grass.
Just thinks you're acting a mite childish. Unfortunately, no chance encounter. You travel through and head towards home as the rain is beginning to fall. You'll arrive shortly. All right. Let's travel across to Miss Radcliffe in the woods. It's sort of still morning where you are exhausted. You just have a little snooze next to the ash tree when some of your goons begin to head across towards you. Baxter will be a while delivering the letter. Actually, he's probably not too far away. Time passes as you sleep and stuff, and we get towards midday. The others, Salt Pete, Long Jones, and Ted arrive with sort of bags of your tents and sundry, all hauled over piece by piece and gathered on the edge of the clearing. No one's particularly eager to wake you, and as you sort of return to yourself and crack open an eye, you can see them lingering a little bit on the edge. They have procured a couple of shovels and pickaxes, though. Once directed, they can get to work.
Well, yeah, they should get to work.
Okay. All right. With a bit of hop too.
What do you need me to... What am I paying you for? Just stand around?
Well, they're not being paid presently. That's
I know. I don't say that out loud.
But you get a bit of get up and go and set them to raising up the canstone. It takes them a little while, and you're kind of checking in to make sure that no one gazes at the symbol and falls into it. You probably actually stand in front of it for a while and just make sure that that's blocked.
That's it.
Eventually, they break through some of the clod and dirt on the other side and begin to pry it up. It is revealed to be covering a tunnel. The whole thing very much has the feeling of trespassing. It's as if you are in a grave digging one up. I would apply... It's not going to apply to here. You'd be like... Molly has done this before. You've kind of broken into things and tried and taken stuff from it. So I think you probably handle it all right. The others are also brigands. They're not opposed to it. But everyone has a little bit of the feeling of this is bound to bring bad luck. It's only, I believe it was Ted that came with you, who you told that there may be treasure underneath. that's going to begin the work of compensating them, who seems to be sort of attacking the ground with fervor, eager to get towards it. By the time it's getting into the afternoon, you can see a hole to the sides, and Salt Pete, the largest of them, gets his hands in it, pulls the cairnstone back, and then lets it fall to the mud with a slam behind it, revealing a tunnel that goes underneath these knotted, sort of twisted roots down into the ground. There is a exaltation of breath that comes from the ground beneath, and it is cold and has the chill of the grave about it. It's as if when you inhale it, your lungs are weaker, high amount of air. It has less substance down there. It is pitch black, and it goes quite deep. You thought that there might be something underneath it? There was a tunnel underneath the one at the summer house.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, it was, because remember when it went quite down to the ground, they had to like lower down the rope to get in.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's what of course. Yeah. All right, great. Cool. Well, down we go.
Okay. Are you going down yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. You can fetch
and anyone who's not yellow belly can join me, but anyone who still wets the bed can stay outside.
Salt Pete.
I'll leave it up to them.
Salt Pete's going to keep watch. Jones gets towards the edge with another lantern. Ted's the most eager to go down with you, as you promised Gold. You're going to need to go down one at a time, so you can go down first. Ted also, very optimistically, grabs a large empty sack to fill with treasure, and then thinking, why not, grabs a second, just in case there's real riches down here. You light a lantern of your own and step forward, beginning to push down into the tunnel. It's very cramped, and it goes deep down under the tree. The growth of it has twisted around and pushed through the mud on the edges of the tunnel, so that sections of it are sort of half collapsed, and you can barely make out what you think is its continuation. You have to stop to brush it out of the way and push in deeper several times, and the deeper you go inside it, the more you feel as though you are pressing into another environment. It's harshly cold down here. It feels as though you can barely take deep breaths, and your eyes strain to pick up anything outside the glow, or the very weak glow of your lantern. The other two coming behind you immediately begin to become nervous, flighty. Ted considers doubling back. He does it under the guise of fetching a third sack, but you're able to keep them with you and push further forward. Eventually you come to what appears to be the end of the tunnel, where you can see another stone jammed into the side of it and twisted at an angle. It is the same shape, being sort of pillar-esque, as the one that was underneath the Mortview summer house, and you can see inscribed on the side of it, half underneath the dirt, yet another symbol. Unfortunately, it is clear that there is no treasure down here. You're the first to arrive, and it'll take the others a little moment to push past and see it. So what you do next is up to you.
That's it. That's what we came here for. And I grabbed the piece of paper and the quill, which of course I brought down with me without telling the GM. That's fine. And etch the, scratch out the symbol.
Okay,
So
you reach
I've got
back,
a copy of it.
get it, and begin to trace it. I'll grab the right one. Yep. And this is the symbol that you see shortly. Nip across to show it on roll. Everyone got that? It's a long scratch with a number of slices carved next to it. You're able to trace it and get a copy. And you remember your sibling and Baxter were actually pulling it out of the ground when they found the other one, if you wish to do so. Otherwise, you can leave it in the earth.
I've got it on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
That's the only copy of it in existence. It's a bit more valuable. What kind of stone are we talking about?
Granite or some reasonably firm rock, but it's chippable. They chipped this into it. You saw the canstone's made of the same substance, and you saw the one that was at Mr. Potterton's summer house was cracked from where they dropped it over to the side, so it definitely breaks.
All right. Here's the plan. We've got the symbol. That's the treasure. That's what someone's going to pay big for.
What do you mean that's the treasure?
That's the treasure. That's what we're going to sell to these folks.
I don't understand.
There's something afoot. I'm not surprised you don't understand. You haven't been here for 3 months like I have, but there's some mad folks in this town. And they're going to pay big for whoever can find these symbols. So I reckon we smash that rock up. We're the only ones with the symbols.
What do you mean someone's going to pay us for the symbols? Like they're going to pay us for the ransom? Like they're going to pay for the kids we take? Like they're going to pay for your dowry or whatever it is you were doing there? A lot of whens. Mole, what about now? You said there was treasure down here.
That's it. You're looking right at it. And I'm sorry that it's not gold and jewels and treasure, but that's not what happens in real life, mate. We're not on bloody Treasure Island here. When you deal with these people, you got to deal with letters and promises and words, and it's not easy and it's not fun, and it doesn't make a lot of sense a lot of the time. But that's what we're going to have to do, because look, we can go back out there and we can keep robbing and stealing from people like us, you know, fighting amongst ourselves. But if we're going to actually change the country, if we're going to actually, you know, upset the balance, this is how we have to do it, mate.
I don't want
Get a
to...
bit smarter.
I'm not looking to upset the balance. I'm looking to eat. You know what's fed us these 3 months while we were in the woods? Stealing. Things. Chickens. Clothes. Practical stuff. Understand? That's what keeps our bellies full and our feet warm when the winter comes. This doesn't mean anything. You don't even know what this means. You got a buyer? You got someone who'll actually pay for this and who won't just sell us out?
Yeah, mate.
Who?
Potton's the Reverend.
The Reverend will pay you. From what? Church coffers?
Look, you did things Arthur's way for so long. All right? And yeah, you were stealing to keep your belly full. And Arthur ended up dead. And this is the first time, mate. It's the first time we're doing things my way. And what? Because you don't stumble on to a bloody pirate's chest, you know, king's ransom just sitting here in the ground, you think it's all over. Nah, mate. I've been here for less than a day.
Yeah, but for 3 months we've done your plan. 3 months we've waited for you to get this sorted. 3 months we waited for you to get whatever wealth the Pottertons had, and that collapses. You say the Reverend will pay. If it's church coffers, I say we go there now. Empty them. Anyone who's got money to pay has money we can steal. There's no reason going about it this manner. And you think your reputation's good enough that you can swan into town and declare you found this rare and elusive symbol? And hell, it's not even that clever. I could draw that. I'll draw 7 symbols. We'll sell all 7.
It's what's making people sick. It's connected to what's killing people in the town. People will pay when their lives are on the line.
What do you mean, what's killing people? What little dick he's got?
It's passing around. Yeah, the very same. And not just little Dicky, it's half the town by the end of the week.
I don't care about half the town. Hell, I barely care about Dicky, but he's one of us, so he gets a thought. Do you ever wonder that maybe what's gone wrong here is people were going places they shouldn't, opening stones they shouldn't, and finding symbols they shouldn't be looking at? And now you want to destroy it. Anyone you sell this to shouldn't have it. That's what I say.
I'm not trying to convince you, mate.
You're telling.
I'm just asking you to do what I say. Because I did work my way up. I'm not just Arthur's brother. You saw me. You've seen me work for all these years. You've seen me keep us together. You've seen me bring money in. We all have off days. But now, you know, it is my head in the line. And I get that. And I wouldn't be going through with this if I didn't think it was going to work. Because I get it. You're all angry. You're all hungry. And I'm still doing it anyway. And I'm not asking you to like it. I'm asking you to look at it when we get out of this. And see where we end up. Because we're not out of it yet.
Fine. We'll do it your way, but listen. One of these has to realize soon.
Yeah. I get
The ransom, the symbol, something.
Well, that's why I'm putting a couple of eggs in a couple of baskets, I know.
You want us to destroy this?
Yeah. Smash it up. Well, chip it up, just so no one can read it.
Fine. Okay. I brought things down anyway in case there was a treasure chest. I can break it. You go back up to the surface, Mole. I'll get this done. Go and stay with me and let's see what we can do here. And I crouch down the muck, and as you squeeze past, you can feel you immediately begin to hear, like as you're making the ascent back up, you can hear them whispering a bit. Not whispering, talking probably loud enough that willingly you can hear of just, this had better be something soon.
Yep, and I'm thinking the same. I'm right there with them. Don't you worry.
They work towards it, and you re-emerge back up into the sunlight as clouds are beginning to gather overhead. You have a scratching on it with this symbol, and the sense of returning back to your regular plane as you can breathe more fully. Saltpete's nearby keeping watch, and Baxter should return imminently. In fact, he begins to make his way towards you, picking his way through this small glade towards the tree. What would you like
This
to
is
do?
toward the afternoon.
Yeah.
The afternoon, late afternoon, and there's just over 24 hours before we have to go to the tavern.
That's right.
Great. Let's get another one. We got this in half a day. We can get one more.
Baxter sees the scratching. Do you tell him you want to go and get another one?
Yeah.
Where's
and
your
looking
next?
at the map, which you gave me with the incredible intelligence roll. Am I right that the Stornley house was the one was the one I was at, and that was in the chapel?
Yep, that's right. And then the other one
I
is
know about that
somewhere
one.
on Sand Lake Farm.
Right. So that's the one we haven't been to yet.
Haven't been to yet.
Let's make it happen, Captain.
So we'll go out there now, or you want to travel when it's not?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can try to... I'll head up there and scope around the place while it's still light. Only one of us less chance of being spotted. And then you lot meet me up there once night falls. You can get some equipment up. It's gonna work. It's gonna work.
I reckon it is. I reckon you're right. Okay. You get there, I'll rally, and we'll come up soon.
Hold on. It's like, I gotta get a psychology roll. See if Baxter's really on my side. That was very quick. That was a very quick about face.
Yeah, go ahead and make a psychology roll.
Maybe he's wheedly enough, but maybe he's got ideas. Real success.
No, he's not remotely on your side. He can hear people muttering in the camp. He's pretty sure you are currently digging your grave and preparing to light it. He doesn't think that piece of paper you have is worth shit. He's pretty sure come tomorrow, everyone's going to realize you won't amount to anything, and he's going to step up and take command. He doesn't even need to do anything at this point. You are going to shoot yourself in the foot. You've got no chance of any of this coming together.
But they've accepted my deadline. It's like, you know, tomorrow is when I'm telling them we'll be rich, and so they're not foolish. They're at least, you know, willing to wait that long. That's what I'm hoping. Is that the sense I'm getting?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stab you in the back tonight?
Probably not.
That's
Unless you do something that warrants it, or unless you have something worth taking. Whereas at the moment you have a chance at wealth, and they'd rather that than nothing.
Great. All right. Yep, that's the plan. I'm going to head up to the farm and have a look around before night falls so I can find the place. It's going to be easy to find it in the daylight and then bring him in at night.
Yeah, are you changing your, disguise? Are you no longer Radcliffe?
Yeah.
You're now just
No one can see Jane Radcliffe running through the town.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you change yourself into some very much. There will be one more horse with the band. It's a much shitter animal than your brothers. It's very much like a workhorse, but you can take it and head up. The others will take a while, so they'll probably only be getting there. If they set off at nighttime, they'll probably only be arriving at like midnight or something when they get to the thing, as they are much slower on foot. But you can get there reasonably quickly, have a look around, and be ready to receive them as they arrive. Okay.
Great.
As you leave this area, you can see.
You know what? I think I'll go on foot. They can have the horse. They can bring like, the digging gear,
Okay.
and then
Sure.
I'm less likely to be spotted.
Yeah, it'll just take you long. You'll probably only arrive there at nightfall yourself then.
Oh,
Because
no,
you
I
need to be
get there
kind of
in time.
cautious going
I'll have to
around
have
through
the horse.
Tarryford.
I'll have to have the horse then.
Yep.
Great.
As you're departing, you will see evidence of the old woman's cabin on the side of the road, smoke puffing forth from it. You can also see where clearly your band has stolen a number of things from her. Chickens, ruined the garden, taken everything they can that isn't pinned down. And you have to give it a fairly wide berth to avoid being spotted. As you breach the woods themselves and return to the main road, you can see that the clouds have gathered thickly overhead and are now turning to sort of like concrete mass. Rain is coming down in pellets, and the roads are quickly beginning to turn towards mud. Can you give me a power roll, please?
I don't like the sound of that.
There's like a thrum of static in the air.
Success.
You feel as though a storm is building, a big one. Normally, you're a very, like, you and your bands, like, you've camped out enough. You kind of have a bit of a feel for, like, when weather's going to break, when things are going to turn. This one came about suddenly, and you can't help but it's focused around your area, around the woods and the space nearby.
Yeah.
Lightning, or you hear the like roll of thunder at some point, and soon after lightning crashes down not too far from you, very much centered around this area, as heavy droplets of rain begin to drop around you.
I wonder what could have caused that.
As you twist up the note,
real
put it in
mystery.
your pocket.
Yeah. Oh well, it'll be fine.
You'll be right. Make your way into town and begin to head out the other side. And as you do, can I ask you to give me a luck roll?
Ooh, I don't like that at all. No.
Okay. Moving through, you can see people coming around. Can I ask you to make a disguise roll or similar skill to get through here unnoticed? You have made a couple of appearances as Molly, also as Miss Radcliffe,
Acting.
who is supposed to be
like
abducted.
And acting as a harried poor traveller who just,
Acting works for me.
simply does not want to be spotted.
Yeah. Keep your head down, avoid the rain, and on horseback with very much like the cloak upon top you just push through and out the other side. The rain has ushered most people indoors, no chance encounters, and you keep on your way, breaking out of it and heading north to the Sand Lake Farm. It does feel as though you outpace the storm. You get through the other side of it, and it's like you find sunlight again as you breach. You can see this is one of the larger farms in the region. It is not underneath gentry. There is not a single noble who runs it. But they service a bunch of people all around the area. So you know that there is a house towards the back where the gentleman who runs it lives. If you want to speak to anyone, otherwise you can begin just scouring the area. Now, did you get an extreme roll on that intelligence test, or was it a hard? Do you recall? I think it was quite good.
I do have a scroll bar.
I was just doing the same. Well done.
Control F, intelligence.
Oh, here we go. It was a critical on Mr. Potton, which was for
regular success. There's one off a hard, which I didn't know. I if we can.
No. You have a
if the court
bonus.
would like to read back
dice.
the transcript. I'm sure I would have said. Give me
100%.
Like 1 point.
No, I tell you, actually, I think I might like 1 point for a hard. If you'll do me that service, you can go down. So you've got 3 of the locations. You mark them on your map with an X, and actually I'll go ahead and add them to it. So you can see that that's where it is.
Well, this one's
you-
kind of broken now, so forget about that one.
Yes, but you
Two
do
of
know
them
where
are
it is.
broken now, really.
Based off that, you're able to see that actually all three of them are equidistant from
Course.
the other one. Oh, hang on.
From the tavern.
So that one's
Oh.
about that length. That one's the same.
2,500 feet.
And that I haven't adjusted the scale. Another one heading up towards the north would place it about here-ish. You actually have an approximate area where you need to search, and if you begin your search there, you may have more luck than just scouring the entire thing.
And that is just what I will do.
Tremendous. Can I get you to make?
Thank you.
So there are farmers toiling in the fields and things. What is your? Do you want to wait until night? Do you want to just be riding along as like a travel? Basically, you could stay on the roads and have a look, or you can park your horse somewhere, hop off, and go for a hunt.
If I go, what am I out being spotted? Are they still like workers in the field, or
Yeah, like
play it
just
off as just like having a stroll?
it is.
I get the sense I could do that.
You
do that.
you might get questioned if someone comes. You're not allowed to just walk on their property without reason. Someone will probably come up to you and question you if they see you. So you try a stealth roll, or you could stay on the road,
This is
or you
before-
could try and do
Before
something.
the right to ramble.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll have a look from the road at first, since I've got the map. That's what I'll do.
Okay. Do you want to go
Sounds
ahead and
fine.
give me a spot hit, or natural world, or
Well, I am gonna take that with 1 point of luck.
that get you a
Maybe some
regular
old-
success?
Regular success,
Okay.
please.
You can see a patch off towards the side where there is thick overgrown grass, and the sheep don't go near it. It seems like they're moved around, they are consuming things. There's
Oh,
nothing
of
stopping them
course.
going to it. It isn't fenced off, but it appears as though they are avoiding that space.
Don't even need a map. I just need to do a vibe check.
You do rely on the map. There is a
That's how
lot
you
of
find it.
fields that gets you closer. Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Do you want to
vibe
head
check
towards it, or do you
confirmation.
just mark it and wait for your allies?
I guess. Yeah, no sense in like getting caught where I need to be.
Okay.
But nothing else to do. I might just have another nap if I'm still a bit knackered.
You can find a place nearby to rest and wait for your allies. In the distance, you can see the storm continuing to growl. But soon, night will fall,
Yeah.
and your friends.
My allies will
approach.
turn up.
Yeah, for sure. Be weird if they didn't. Okay. Let's
All right.
go
Yep, nope. Send
across.
to work. Get digging.
Perfect. All right.
Same story.
Oh no, you wait for them. We'll leave you there, and then we'll pick back up come nighttime. With the others, I want to check in first on Miss Wentworth and her.
You sure? You don't have to. I mean, I'm good. I'm
adventures
good just
in-
enjoying other people's adventures.
in Snoozeville.
not-
Okay.
Yeah, it's absolutely Snoozeville over here. There's nothing to report.
You are currently frozen for a moment, looking down at a splattered corpse like overripe fruit that paints the ground and the trees around it. As soon as you like hold thing and begin to wait, you hear the flash or like the crack of wings as they snap open, and then something glides off quite loudly, thundering through the tree line. The ground before you is sort of bubbling slightly underneath the corpse as it begins to twist around. And what are you doing? You have made a sanity roll. Where did you go with that, by the way? How did we resolve the last one?
I think I did okay. I think I
There we go. You did fail and took 4 points, but I believe you are not in a
Yeah.
bout, right? You're not.
not yet. I'm like one off.
Okay. Alright.
I'm about to be. We're gonna get there. Don't worry.
So you can see something is happening. Something is reacting to the corpse before you. You can hear these things patrolling the area around. Do you just dip and keep trying to hunt for someone, Dr. Parsons or otherwise, or what would you like to do?
Oh, I think I'm out of here. I think there's too many. I don't want to be anywhere near where other people are, or the remains of other people, because honestly, it seems kind of like they're all getting eaten.
Okay. Something is reacting to it on the ground. You see it sort of bubbling things. You step away, moving back behind the trees, and try and dart off, hoping that you're traveling in the right direction. Can I ask you to give me a stealth roll or something similar?
Sure.
As you avoid these horrors sliding through the trees, and well done. Even in your sort of like bare feet or slippers, catching on the sides, you are able to avoid these things. You get the impression that they aren't stealthy. They almost relish being like that. Things know that they're being hunted. They sort of look to elicit terror in them. And occasionally you'll actually get the opportunity, given you've rolled so well, to sneak up to where you think you might see something in the tree line resting. A large furled bat-like creature with massive wings pulled around its face. You only get a quick look at it before you sort of keep your head down and move away. You could possibly get the drop on one if you wanted to. Otherwise, you can just avoid them and try and press onwards.
Yeah, look, that's an extreme success on stealth, and I'm gonna hang on to that one, and I'm not gonna risk interrupting that.
Okay.
I'm gonna just rest on my extreme success for a minute.
Yeah. You will see evidence of other spectral figures. They are less realized in this world than you are, and some of them have resemblances of folks that you know in the town. Now, you are of a sort of wealthier circle, so you haven't butted elbows with them frequently, but they match descriptions of some of the folks that you know to be sleeping. Unfortunately, there are more of them than you were told. When this scenario began, you were told that there are 6 people that were slumbering in this space, and you were aware of one death. You think you may have just witnessed another one. You come across more than that, and there's some people that you don't recognize. They don't match descriptions you're aware of. They are all dressed similarly to you in like sleeping attire, and it makes it a little difficult to date them. There's a chance that these people are from like times previous or something. You're not really sure, but they seem to be kind of unaging in this area.
Is there anyone I recognize from I guess this would only be if they were more upper class, but from portraits and seeing portraits of people in gallery in hallways when I've been at balls? And
your best chance for that will be Nathaniel Havering, who you know to be slumbering somewhere here, or Dr. Parsons. And I'll say, given an extreme, you have a chance that you can continue to roam for a while undetected. You don't know how long it takes, but eventually you will come across. I tell you, you mentioned looking for Dr. Parsons, I think, right?
And also, if there's any, if it's not current people, if these are historical figures who have been trapped here for generations, then people who I've seen painted on walls in various manor houses and that kind of thing.
Could you give me a history roll?
I mean,
or library use for maybe like having studied them previously, something that might allow you to identify them.
Does not make sense.
Yeah, it'd only be if you'd actually studied these figures. I think it is probably history. So.
Nah, not my nah.
Not able to identify. None of them.
Nah.
None of them
really.
seem to be like figures that you've seen, and you never really took the time to study them at great length beyond your own direct like relations.
Yeah, they're dead. They're not eligible.
And so they have little to no value to. Yeah, no, I understand. You're going to eventually come across Dr. Parsons in his sleeping state. You find a glade which opens out, and you see it rises up towards a hill in the distance. Your own extreme stealth had you avoiding these creatures, and you seem to be picking your way towards an area where there are fewer of them. There are a number of them scattered throughout the space, and on this natural path, which seems to be leading you towards this hill with what looks to be a structure built atop it in the distance still, you find Dr. Parsons. He's dressed in a sort of long nightgown that trails well past his toes and far to the ground behind you. His head is bowed low, and you can see his glasses have slipped down off his face, still hooked on his ears, to rest just above his mouth. It appears that his feet are being cut open by the rocks that he are walking along, and he is leaving a obvious trail of blood behind him as he sort of like just shuffles sleepily, heading in the general direction of this structure on the hill. He has not noticed you with this extreme stealth roll.
I just had a very bad experience with speaking to one of these dreams. I know where he is, and he isn't moving fast.
Yeah.
I might kind of just duck ahead a little bit and see if I can, if this is going up a hill, see if there's the blue water, the lake with the blue water over the rise near this structure, if that's kind of where I'm headed. And where he's headed, because he knows what to do. He's aware of what the strategy is, and whether or not that stayed in his subconscious mind at all, it would be interesting to know. But at the same time, my purpose here is I've tried the whole Pied Piper thing and helping to pull people out from the inside, and it's gone poorly. So I think my purpose here has shifted to more finding the Nexus, and if I remember correctly from the last time I slipped into this world, there is a physical kind of relationship even on this side, like walking through or being shunted through the tunnels previously. I was able to see other places that were real places. So it might be that there is a physical connection in this dreamland to a physical space. And you know what, if I can get myself to the Nexus, which is where I think the others are going to go, once they found the other stones, that would be good. If I could find somewhere to I guess, somewhere more important to the space and the dreamland as a whole, and the problems that we've been having. Yeah, 100%. Even on the inside.
Do you have navigation as a skill?
No.
Okay.
I have dance.
Yeah. We actually, that was what killed the last guy, so let's not dance. Okay. I'm gonna hold on to that for a moment. It's a good thought. We might circle back. So you head up ahead of Dr. Parsons and climb this hill. You can see there is a soft glow emanating from it, and as you approach, you've been feeling cold and empty. This sort of like pressure inside you, or absence almost, really a void of something desiring to be free, is constant, kind of is an ache in your chest. As you get towards up towards this, you feel there is a bit more warmth or something, kind of a bit more like being alive again. It's stepping out of the cold winter and into home to feel the tips of your fingertips beginning to warm up again. You didn't even realize how cold they were. It is a memorial or something which has been constructed from white stone. It's been pushed up into shapes that are reminiscent of columns, although they haven't been carved particularly elegantly. It's just sort of like rough sections to hold atop it, a improvised sort of almost dome-like slab of several pieces that seem to be very precariously balanced together. It looks as though this would have been built by hand. You can see sort of almost evidence of things being dragged together into places. And on the interior, you can see painted in hues of dark red and brown is a number of panels which encircle the interior and are backlit by this glow coming from the stone. You can also see several distinct bricks inside it where the stone has been chipped away to show the sort of strange stars and night sky above, so that they can just drop through, and there's an absence of light from the stone. There's just darkness coming from behind it. Holes about yay big or so. Looking at the paintings, you can see what looks to be a large sort of twisted mass of roots and moss or tendrils, shadow, something like that, which is then coalesced, condensed further and further until it begins to be put back into something like an egg or its shell. It's as if it's being reconstructed. At first you think you might be reading this in reverse. You can then see what look to be small figures dancing on the outside of this egg, and then as they sort of hold hands aloft in what is the penultimate panel, you see things beginning to pull down from the stars around it, flying in like streaks of meteors, these black lines. It is at this point you realize that this has all been drawn with blood, as they only ink or suitable replacement in the area, and smeared across it where it is caked and turned thick, as has been repeated over time. In the final panel, you can see what looks to be a single large crack going down towards the center, and then from it, a huge branching tree erupting out and rising up towards the horizon beyond, as something seeks the stars above. And I get you to make... Do you have... So, did you get any Cthulhu mythos from the first scenario? You should have. Okay, can you please make a Cthulhu mythos roll for me?
Sure. No, it's a fumble.
Oh my god.
That's
Oh
all
my
good.
god.
Okay.
You're 5.
Staring at this, you begin to feel your heart sort of like pounding in your chest. There's nothing familiar in this space except the memories of when you were last here with Georgiana, and those like sort of cherubic faced things began to scuttle towards you. I'll ask you to immediately make a sanity roll as you take in the reality of this prison that you are walking atop.
Come on.
Okay. And still
Rude.
can flash with panic and aware that you are isolated and in this strange environment. I reckon why you succeed that is you think you hear for a moment what sounds like a familiar voice. And it's saying very softly, sort of carried on a distant breeze, and only just past your ear, you need to find the pool. Remember, look for the pool. Except then you hear it's like scattering as like rocks drop down from the side, and Dr. Parsons finishes his ascent and walks into this space. His own mouth is slack and drool pulling along it and dropping to the ground before him. As he stands there, he makes no movement, but you can hear the voice flowing. And you recognize this, or you think you do, as what sounds like your fiance's voice. And it's almost as if it's floating just behind the doctor for a moment, and then it fades, drifts away.
Good work. I can feel immediately kind of almost like a swell of affection for the Reverend, for Reverend Jennings, for my fiance, that's kind of almost on the verge of actual just like a love for this man who has somehow managed to find me here when I can barely even find myself. And I'm going to hold on to the sound of his voice and kind of start almost trying to direct Dr. Parsons, like steer him like a little boat.
Yeah.
A little paper boat running down a gutter through this terrible place. And I don't know whether with the topography, are we high up?
That's exactly. You are higher up, and these trees like surge towards the horizon, but from up here you get a little better vantage point and you can peer around. Can you make an intelligence roll for me? You don't have navigation, so this is getting you sort of a direction rather than a full understanding of the situation, or where you can go at least. There's a couple of... Okay.
Hey.
Nicely done. We take those. Yeah, you had the thought earlier of like when you slipped through the realm previously towards in the long corridor, you would always arrive at a static point. You came through one for one and then you walked to it and you had to come back to that same exit to get out. This you believe to be the same space, now corrupted or releasing something. It seems where you enter, you can then exit. So there is some tie to points. You have walked for quite some time. When you came upon the doctor, if where he went to sleep is about Tarryford, and that's where you started recognizing people, you now have maybe 2 points of comparison. And turning yourself around, you can kind of see what from here, well, if you came in over there and you found the doctor here, which is quite close to this thing, which would put it, for lack of a better word, let's call this Tarryford or something within it, then the Pendlehaven Woods would be about that way. And as you look over there, you can see between trees up in the sky, there is a thin white line that just slashes through it. It genuinely looks almost like a graphical glitch or something, as a single fishing line is suspended in space and goes straight down to the ground. And as you shift, it stays there, even going across trees if necessary, as if there is a seam through this space heading in that direction. Based off that, again, so if you call that south, and the direction you came from west, then over to that way is maybe east, and to that would then be the north, if you consider yourself at approximately the center.
And would I consider myself approximately the center?
Well, if where you found Dr. Parsons in theory is Tarryford, and that's where you saw the others. Like, this is where most of the people are, where most of the horrors are, towards just a little bit, you're a bit above it, you're a bit north of it, you think. But those trees where most of the people have been found are around here, and that should be where they fell asleep. The only way, if you wanted to look for Nathaniel Havering, in theory, he would be across to the east, where he is asleep in Stormley House.
Right. Which, no. Pass. Although I am going east if I'm going to the... Oh no, I'll be going south if I'm going to the Pendlehaven Woods.
That's right.
Which I think I am. That's the... I mean, I know what those seams... Alright, I know the physical sensation that thing in the sky looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like seeing a color and hearing a color or seeing a sound. It's like a synesthesia thing.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, that gives me looking at this gives me a physical sensation that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to kind of try and gently steer, and I'm repeating the words that I heard in the Reverend Jennings' voice, repeating those words to the doctor. I'm going to try and steer him that way.
As soon as you talk, his head tilts up. His glasses are still like low down, so they're over his lips rather than his eyes. But he does have eyes, unlike the young man that you saw. They are foggy, glassy, focused on something in the distance, but he's as soon as you speak, he looks up towards you, and his slack mouth sort of clicks closed, and you can see him like mouthing something, and then as if speaking through dry breath after waking for some time, you hear him say, Wentworth.
We have to find the blue water, and I'm gonna pop his glasses back up on his face.
The
blue water. Let's go.
He holds out towards you, and he pulls at your thing, and he like flexes it almost to see that you're real, and you can see him still semi-translucent. He solidifies slightly, but he's not in the space as you are. He pulls against you, and he reaches up, and his hand goes to your forehead, and he says, and as he comes back, there's just a little bit of like a little dot of blood on it. And he holds that towards you, and he goes, We're dreaming, right? We're dreaming.
In the sense that we have both fallen asleep, yes. In the sense of I suppose the things which we used to in dreams, very much no. Specifically the one about dying, I suspect. We should go.
We're dreaming, and I can... Miss Wentworth.
Sort of.
I'm afraid, and for a moment you think you can hear the Reverend's voice again. I'm afraid things have gotten rather worse. The sickness, the illness, whatever, it's spreading. 3 more are dead. 7 sleeping. I found last night? Yesterday? A week? How long has it been?
Oh, I would have no clue. I think time passes differently here. And I've been in here a minute myself. we should find the blue water. We should get out of here.
Yes, I think we should. I find I've never been more tired than when I'm sleeping.
Well, again, not really a dream. Consider this, I guess, well, you've gone through training for your profession, Doctor? Yes? When you were first accredited,
of course,
yes?
years of study.
Yes, years of terrible study, staying up late, pushing yourself far beyond the limits of what you thought intellectually, physically, you were capable of. We're going to be doing that again today. And you're just going to have to come with me because we have to find the blue water.
Right. Yes. Blue water. Find that. Drink it and return to the waking. Return to the others, then. The others that are
blue
here.
Water, we're going right now.
Miss Wentworth, this
and
may
I.
be our only chance to find them. To save them. Anyone who is still in here.
I don't know that we can. You see, not everyone has the Reverend speaking in their ear by their bedside, which I think is why you are as you are. Semi-wakeful.
But I feel as though we're being hunted.
Oh, we are. We definitely are, and that's why we need to keep moving. We are definitely being hunted. They've got wings, and I think those holes in this structure might actually be from either their claws or their things. They're not very good, but they're definitely hunting us. Yes.
Then we'd best be quiet. I'll follow your lead then, shall I? And you'll take us there.
I will give it a go.
Very well. I'll follow you. And he goes to follow you. As you start to go down the side of the thing and you realize that going south will take you through this deepest section where you saw the most of these horrors as well as the most of the spectral ghosts wandering. By the time you begin to walk out and look back, you see he's already beginning to shift backwards slightly. He's following you, but it's quite autopilot, and he's also quite slow. You kind of nudge him, and he like, right, hurries for a little bit, and then...
That's okay. That's okay. We're doing the best that we can.
Do you want
I didn't see anything that looked water. There was nothing like...
Not here, no.
No, and it does make sense for it to be in the woods with the protective trees and the
Or there's
whatnots.
there's something there at
There is
least.
something
It gives you
there,
a direction.
I didn't see anything else.
Here would be the other thing. You did succeed your intelligence roll. If this is the same place, you could try and find the altar that would connect to the North Lake estate, and that's also south.
Yes, the other thing I was thinking is if I'm in Tarryford, I could also try and find whatever was underneath the tavern.
Yes, you're quite close to Tarryford.
I suspect is the building that we were at. Did that feel like based on how? Yeah, it's kind
in
of hard to talk about navigation. I don't really have
it's
enough.
just that, and these people have, and genuinely without navigation, it doesn't. You're not. It doesn't immediately line up to you. You're not sure where that might be because the densest stand of woods where the most of these horrors are, and the most of the people are, was what you were at first like. That might be Tarryford because that's where the sleepers are, and they can't have gotten far. This is to the north of that and up a hill, so it doesn't quite line up.
It's something else. It might just be a structure to do with this particular part of the Dreamlands, part of this particular location. The only thing I've got to go on is the seam, and I know what that feels like to me, so I'm going to head towards that. And that's down like in the trees and...
It's past them.
Which
so
is...
basically, do you want to go through this, or do you want to skirt around the whole thing? Going through this will give you the opportunity to possibly find more of the ghosts, risk of more of the creatures. It also may be faster. If you go around the whole thing, it might just take you longer, but as you said, time does seem to be moving kind of oddly, yeah.
Yeah. Damn it. Okay, well I know what my fiancé would want me to do. Damn it. I'm gonna go straight through.
Okay. Alright. You grab Dr. Parsons and head down into the thickest stand of these trees. As soon as you're underneath them again, you will quickly see it as something goes soaring through them, rocketing past.
I've got my bow and arrow, and I'm going to make sure I'm at the ready for that.
Take it, knock an arrow, and pull it back as hard as you can. One of these things goes rocketing past, heading south through the trees, winding past them, and then vanishing up. They are loud when they move, and you can kind of track them a little bit. As long as you're cautious, you think you can avoid them. Go ahead and give me a stealth roll as you move through this space.
Yeah, it's. I don't like my chances of getting another extreme, but you know what? No.
As you're moving through here, this place has a significant number of them, and after a while, you hear something fly up, past, and around. You think you've avoided it, but then it does so. Well, also it does so again after a little while, and you now think that something spotted you as an opportunity and is allowing itself to be heard as it swoops up and past, whirls around, plants for a while, go for a period, and then it makes itself known again, each time getting closer and closer. At first it's just distant wings, then it's something standing on a tree up above in the distance, and then it's something roaring right ahead, going directly over you.
That's okay. As long as I'm not going to let it get behind me again. Like, I'm going to basically rotate. If I hear it moving in a direction that'll put it behind me, I'm going to turn around to track it, at least orally. But basically, I'm pretty good with my shotgun. I'm hoping that dream logic, I'm going to be pretty good with a bow and arrow. But at the same time, if it's on a trajectory straight towards me, then that's an easier shot.
You will be able to use your firearm skill to use the bow. It's exactly dream logic. This is just how it's kind of being perceived, is as an older instrument. So one of these things is tracking along after you, or it's tracking Dr. Parsons. That's unclear. You will come across, before it closes the distance, you will come across another of these ghosts just sitting down on the ground, cross-legged and staring forward. It's a larger man, and you can see he sort of has like flattened hair, almost as if it's been drenched by water, that's just fallen over his eyes. He stares down at the ground before him, and he's picking at his, like, the nails on his fingers and prying them far enough back that they pull off, and then where it comes away, you can see little spots of like black ichor that just drips down to the ground. And by the time he gets to the next one to pry it off, the first is pushing out and beginning to regrow as he just stares down to the ground.
Do I know him?
I tell you what, yes, because you know who some of the early ones. This is Morris Soulsmith, and he is the baker in town.
Well, if my path takes him directly past him, I will make an attempt to get him to come with us. But I'm not spending a great deal of time, and I'm certainly not taking my attention off the skies.
Off the thing that's following you. Yeah, could you go ahead and give me a persuade roll or something similar?
I'm not kind of persuasive, I think. I'm kind of persuasive.
Or charm.
I mean,
charm
I'm a
suits
better liar than anything else.
If you have a pitch for it, if you have something you think you can say that you can kind of try and wake them up and get them to follow you.
Problem is, saying that I know the way out is actually the truth. Well, I think I'll go with charm.
Okay.
I'm just going to be very kind and pretty.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling particularly kind or pretty at the moment. It comes off kind of tense.
You try again, and he like pulls back into like
kind of mean
reality for a little bit, but he still doesn't. He, like the young man, his eyes are absent and the tears streaking down have begun to just melt through his chin. As you wake him up, you can see him begin to stir into life, and as he draws attention to himself, you're worried that something else might start coming this way. Otherwise, you can just step back and kind of let him return into his slumber.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
The eye thing bothers me.
You let him
return. The doctor's still got his eyes. The doctor can speak to me. We're getting the doctor out of here, and if I get a similar reaction from somebody else, gravy. Right. Otherwise, we're gonna just keep going.
Okay. All right. You keep on going forward. You are pursued by
the eyes have it.
The eyes do have it, or not.
As you get to about the midway point and you think you've been traveling for a time, whatever is following you is getting closer. You see something crouched in a tree at a moment, and then as you move through it, there is one moving in branches directly up above. You believe this thing is getting close to attacking. You've been able to hold your nerve for long enough. At this point, you now need to try. You can try and avoid it. You can try and dip. Otherwise, it is a matter of time.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to pause, let Dr. Parsons catch up, and
He is completely in his like vacant state at the moment.
That's
he is
fine.
unaware of anything that's happening.
That's fine. He can, as long as he's near me and I can kind of circle around, and I'm basically just going to start. It's now a standoff, and I'm basically just going to be aiming.
Okay.
I know where it is. I can hear it. I can track it that way. Now it's just a standoff.
Yeah, with that in mind, actually, can I get you to make a? Can you give me a spot hidden roll to see if you can get the angle on it and be prepared to deal with it?
Very nice.
Holy shit! Yeah. You've tracked this thing for a while, and you now see it swings around loudly. Its wings catching the sides of trees. It's sort of diving around through them and then circling up, and then you spot it alight on one of the branches, twist itself up into a small hunched figure, and then its long tail wraps around the branch several times, and you can just make out underneath one of the wings this like large faceless head looks towards you, and you can just see a like long line across where a mouth may be. Underneath it, it looks as though there's a tongue or something that's lashes towards it. You pause, spot it, and don't believe it's noticed that you should like freeze, catch out of the corner of your eye, and hold for a second. I do need a sanity roll to see if you can keep your nerve or react more on instinct.
Ooh, not today.
Dear.
Okay. And I reckon that's gonna put me over.
All right, this is going to be a D6 -1, as you have had encounters with them before, so you're a little bit prepared for it.
Math.
Oh, okay. Is that indefinite?
There she goes. I believe. Oh.
It's about anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be about anyway.
Definitely about.
Is indefinite a day or a session?
It's until you've last like had a chance to fully rest, which I think you have had. So I think it'd be since you arrived in this space, basically.
Last time. Because last time it was.
You're currently resting.
Yeah.
Sanity 34. Okay, no, not about yet.
It's not indefinite. It's just about.
Not indefinite yet. Not indefinite yet. Just about.
Okay. Could you go ahead and roll
9 out of 12 for indefinite.
In that case, can you give me an intelligence test?
You want to shoot for. You want to shoot for just
shoot for stupid
eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. You look at it and you just go, all right, well, I'm not dealing with that shit. You do have a reaction, and I think
weird looking thing.
You do have it. So you do let out an involuntary sort of like yell or something, which starts Dr. Parsons for just a moment. You are immediately going to go to basically attack. It's going to roll. We're going to go to initiative order. What is your dexterity?
70.
Okay, you act first.
Quick.
If you want to make this attack, you will have a bonus dice for the very first one as you effectively get the jump on it, and then it's going to resolve from there. Do you want to go ahead and roll your attack, please?
Oh, yes, that's the roll we needed.
Well, now.
We've had some bad rolls this session, but then it all comes good.
Then it all comes back.
Well done. What is the damage on that?
Oh, goodness. I do not have a... What did I do?
If it's still functionally the shotgun,
yeah.
I think it is just
last time to be a D6
plus
close range impaling, so it'll be 6 plus.
Shotguns don't impale. Shotguns don't impale.
Oh, never mind.
It's the downside of shotguns. They do max.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I think it might be a D6 plus 1 even.
Cool.
So that'll be
6.
max damage. That'll be 7 damage. Nicely done.
It's gonna have some armor on some
exactly
nonsense.
that. It has some armor, which reduces it, and that brings the damage down to not be a major wound, but is a significant hit. The thing takes flight and swings down towards you, suddenly diving. Its wings are large enough that they brush the trees on either side, and its long tail unfurls behind it like a weather vane, and then just as it gets towards you, it snaps out, slows its descent, and the tail flicks towards you to try and wrap around you. You can either riposte or dodge.
Yeah, dodging. I'm stop, drop, and roll.
Okay, all right, go ahead and give me a dodge roll.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna roll my own test. Ignore the damage, I'm just rolling the skill test. That is a hard success. The thing wraps around you tightly. Suddenly you are squeezed close, and it heaves down, and on its next turn is going to attempt to take flight. However, it is your turn first.
Okay, well, here's the interesting thing about the weapon that I have now. Will it take me 4 rounds to reload a bow and arrow?
Surely
So
not.
it is the
You might have 2 shots as well if it's a.
it is the equivalent of a shotgun. So that your training applies, but unfortunately, so do the downsides come across as well. It will take you the 4 rounds to reload. You can resort to something else.
They're definitely arrows. I mean, and I couldn't do, but the thing is, I could not do this with a bullet. Well, I might be able to do this with a bullet.
Oh, there is kind of a level that it is your training is coming across, but it is I think you could improvise a
Basically,
stab with it.
with
if
an
that's what
arrow, it's
you're
got a
going for.
pointy bit on the end, and I can just kind of stab with it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
If it was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bullet, I'd be trying to like explode the bullet a different way.
I am 100% on board with that. You also had the small knife that you used to like cut yourself. Maybe that is what's being brought across into
yeah, I do
into it.
too, yeah.
You can have a
I'm
knife
stabby, I'm getting
functionally.
stabby.
Yeah. Do you want to
Although
go?
I also, as a gag.
Yeah.
Actually, what's my melee? Hang on.
Just for the name.
Where's my melee? Where is my melee? Because not good. Okay. Well, good, because then as a gag in the first scenario we did, I mentioned that I was a kicker. And
I think
did in
dance.
fact put
You've
some,
got to roll dance.
Well, no, I put some points into brawl, specifically weapons kick.
Hell yeah.
There was something about being a kicker. It's like, yeah, no, she's a kicker. Like
That's
very
hilarious.
fun.
Yeah. Do you want to make
I think it was when I was kicking my sister under the table or something.
that tracks?
I was like, no, she can
100%.
kick.
It was during a dance.
Yeah.
When I think it was the younger Asher was coming across
Yeah.
onto. Oh, sorry, no, it's actually this younger Potton. That was your
Yes.
sister
That's
coming on to
right.
Captain Stone. I think you kicked her out of the way.
Yeah, I think I just gave her a bit of a boot. So
Yeah.
I'm a kicker. I do actually have some points in brawl
So
kick.
if you wanted to use that, you could try and just break the grapple too, basically like a fighting maneuver to get free.
If we're using, because kick was in 6th edition Call of Cthulhu, if we're using conversion rules, then it will start, your kick should start at 25 because it will start at
That's
the same
very
as your
funny.
brawl.
Oh,
So if you
my brawl's
specialised into
35.
kick-
I've put points into this.
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
fighting
but
brawl
it's
and you just
higher
use it
points
to.
because of the base value for a start, because anyone can kick kind of thing. We'll start it at 25.
Yeah. I think that's what you have, right? You just have fighting brawl. And it's just flavored as you kicking things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never
It is.
mind.
Yeah.
No, it really is. It's just that was the gag. So I would like to kick this thing. I'm kicking to hurt it.
Okay. Not to escape the grapple.
Like, I've shot it and I want it dead.
Yeah, okay. All right, go ahead. And so before you roll, I think base damage is a D3 plus your damage bonus for
Which
just
is-
clobbering stuff. You can use a knife with fighting brawl too, so you may want to just keep the impaling on, but also because then if you get an
Yes.
extreme, you'll bypass armor. Jamie, do you bypass armor on an extreme with a
I
With a
just had a
non-impaling
look.
weapon?
It is actually, I was literally just grabbed the rulebook to double check. There is
Not good
no
at this.
specification that says that extreme damage bypasses armor. There is a specification that says bullets.
I wonder if it.
Impale,
Oh,
though.
okay. Yes.
I know that the shotgun might have a separate
A
thing that
shotgun
lists-
does not impale. I definitely know
Yeah,
that because
which is
that's
weird.
the.
Because I guess it's not a bullet. It's
No,
a,
it absolutely does.
Pellets.
They do like
It's pellet blast.
4d6 and everyone's blasting shit. They do not impale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very. Yeah.
I think you
Yeah,
can
that
put
does make
slugs
sense.
in them and they do pointedly.
That makes sense.
So if you want to, you can use a knife, which will be a D4, or you can just try and kick at them with a D3.
Is a knife with my brawl, or would I have to be using melee?
No, that's brawl. Knives.
Okay. Well, I'll brawl it then.
Okay. All right, go ahead and roll.
So
roll
I
thing.
want-
It is
I
going to
want to
attempt to
hit,
riposte you, so we'll resolve yours first.
Tee-hee.
Holy shit!
Tee-hee.
Oh my
Tee-hee.
God, yes.
Tee-hee. I'm mad.
We sent the right person in first.
We've had
Mad.
such lucky rolls with fights this campaign because none of us are really.
I
fighters,
agree,
but
and yet
every time.
The other one too is Captain Stone was eliminating people left and right. All right.
Yeah. Well, Captain Stone's was a soldier.
I'm gonna roll its first. I'll describe. So you swing the knife out, and as you do, its tail wrapped around you as it begins to try and take flight. The long like knife edge on it begins to try and tickle around you as it traces along your skin, and you feel this urge to laugh as it like twists you up unnervingly and tries to take flight. So it'll roll its One, it has a bonus dice on this as you are grappled. That is a failure, as it's sort of like still trying to get its way into place, and you can drive the knife up towards it. On an extreme, that is going to be 4 damage plus a d4, and I think as we've ruled it previously, I'm going to say it bypasses the armor, although we can't find that reference.
Also, if you have is your brawl 0? Sorry, no, you're unbuilt.
Oh, my body.
Yes, you would have
thing.
damage bonus if that applies.
No, does not.
Okay.
Too small.
7 going through the armor is exactly enough to get to the total health point for this thing. So as it tries to pull you up, you swing around and jam the arrow up underneath its wings.
Oh,
the thing
I'm going to
twists...
use the knife on this one because I've got it.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, even better. Yeah, you swing the knife up underneath its wings, it twists around and collapses down to the ground, and you're able to drive the knife in again as you push it up against the tree, free yourself from it, and you see this thing beginning to like spasm and writhe on the ground, leaking out that same ichor that the trees are created of, that you've seen beginning to creep into the other world and wash across the ground as it floods across Dr. Parsons' naked feet and the edge of his nightgown as he stares listlessly towards it, this thing comprehensively slain. Well done.
Onward.
Okay, all right. You grab Parsons and continue forward.
I'm going to take a minute to reload my shotgun, my
Shotgun?
knot gun.
Noted.
My knot gun. I'm going to reload the knot gun.
You get out and into the through all of this. You will see a couple of other people. Do you want to maybe give me a general charm test to see if you can catch like folks as you travel? You're not lingering too long, I imagine.
No.
It's just difficult to find them.
I'm even less charming. And you know what? I think I find them, but I am getting increasingly less charming with every minute that I spend here.
And you're also aware that because as you wake them up, the thing is less getting their attention in the follow you. It's that their reactions are loud and it draws the attention of these things towards them. While they are undisturbed and just sitting there, they do seem to be, they need to be found by the creatures that are hunting for them. But they can sort of hide out of corners, they can stay out of sight. Once you begin to stir them into like wakefulness, they draw attention, and it's as likely that they'll get themselves killed as they will escape.
Okay.
Eventually you get out of the section that you seems to contain the most of these people and begin the long hike towards the south. This line that's straight through the air continues to persist as you're moving along through it. And at one point you'll see one of the creatures go racing towards it in the distance, and as you track it for some time, it seems to pivot towards it and then dive down, landing near the source of whatever this is. Are you just heading straight for that, or are you scanning the area around it?
I mean, I'm still keeping an eye out for blue water. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I have an objective, but if a better objective makes itself known, I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Can you give me a spot hidden roll, please?
Yar. Nar.
Okay.
Although I can luck that. No, that's
Great
luckable.
points.
That is
Alright.
luckable even for me.
Okay. If you spend that luck, you'll notice a couple things. That at one point you have enough. There's enough space that you're able to see for a ways. That line going directly down is beginning to feel familiar. There is a rise, and then you believe on the other side will be that altar where you visited long ago, well, full year before, and it seems to be directly near that. To the left of that, pretty much straight south from where you were, there is a soft glow coming from the area, and it's only barely recognizable, and the things seem to be avoiding that space, or it doesn't seem like there's any of those winged horrors in that area. It seems to be two different sections.
I like that. I like the area with the no winged horrors and the faint glow.
Okay. All right.
I like that. I like that very much. And you know what I hate? I hate that weird little dip in the land with the stupid rocks and shale and the stupid obelisk that my sister stupid got squished in.
Yeah. Stupid opened a hole in something.
Stupid North Lake stupid house. No.
Good times.
All right. You head, making your way towards the woods. and avoiding the sort of line drawn through space. Dr. Parsons, walking with you and behind, will just tread in your own footsteps. And as you get towards the area, you begin to feel like thrumming, like it's as if a storm is gathering in the space. It's not centered here though. It's centered around that little like thin line moving through directly above the altar, and you can see it beginning to crack open and widen as suddenly you see one of those other winged things taking flight and surging towards you. You crouch down with Parsons, hoping to avoid being seen as it banks around and then guns it towards the line in reality, I suppose. As it's there, you think once again you can hear voices coming through, and hoping to find comfort in your fiance's words, you listen for them, but they're not familiar, and they're speaking in what must be Latin, a dead tongue, something unfamiliar. Can you give me a listen roll, please?
Oh.
Well, now.
Holy shit.
The voice explains the entire scenario and how to beat it.
Action hero Emma Wentworth.
That's fantastic.
You do recognize the voice. It's just not the one you were thinking for. Actually, there's two voices, and you only met them briefly. You hear the words of Robert and Diana Northlake, cousins
Sons
of
of
Elizabeth, and they are chanting from beyond that thin slice in reality. They are speaking in an ancient and lost tongue. It's not Latin. It's something from books that they must have found while abroad or here. And that night gaunt swings around and breaches that gap and vanishes on the other side. It appears as though they are calling them to it or something through.
Those dicks.
All right. Plan. I have a plan. The plan is get to the blue water, wake up, take my shotgun and anybody else with shotguns to the Northlake house and just not a fan of this, unhappy about this.
Okay.
Simply loathe this, all bad things.
You gather Dr. Parsons and race for what you hope is the cool blue water.
I do understand that it would be quicker for me to go that way on this side through while in the Dreamlands. I understand this. I don't wanna. And I don't think Dr. Parsons can get out that way.
You could.
I think I might be able to. I don't
Possibly.
think he can.
You lead him and you push through the woods. You will find a section where it appears there is a like knot of dark wood gathered around pieces, like a large ball or whatever in its space. And as you're getting through there, you feel that like request towards you, that sense of something trapped, reach and thrum through you once more, but you've pushed it behind you before and now focus in on the cool blue glow on the horizon. You are charging towards that. You dismiss whatever it is, this beseechment to be freed, and after a time with Dr. Parsons in tow, you will come to the edge of a beautiful flat lake. It's far enough that you need to take a boat to reach the other side. You wouldn't be confident in your swimming. And it dips down into a very shallow pool. You get the perception, based on the angle of it going in, that it isn't very deep, and it's filled with almost mercury, this perfect, like, reflective, silvery liquid that goes all across the sides. There's no sense of the night gaunts being in this area or approaching, and there's actually no sense of anyone else being here. As you approach, you still feel cold and empty, but Dr. Parsons is with you, and the next step is up to you.
Yeah, I'm making sure Dr. Parsons gets a face full of that cool blue water.
A good liquid. Yeah, do you want to...
Baptism!
Do you want him to... Yeah, you want to push him forward first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know if he has the steam to do... Like, I don't know if he'll do it under his own steam if I'm awake.
Yep. He reaches forward and you sort of push him towards it and urge him to drink, He puts his hands to it, cups them, and drinks deeply. It stains the side of his lips, drops down, and coats the front of his shirt. And as it does, he suddenly like reaches back and clutches over his stomach, and looks as though something is reacting inside. He stumbles backwards away from it, hand clapping towards a tree as he holds himself against it, and his fingernails dig into it. And you see suddenly like something press up against the inside of his nightshirt, as if there is a like bulge inside, and it begins to rise up his throat towards his mouth. He grits his teeth to resist it. His lips bared, and then suddenly he opens it, and this black slug drops down towards the inside, writhes on the ground, and as he looks up towards you, suddenly there is a clarity within his eyes. He steps forward and he says, "You have to fight," and then he drifts into smoke and vanishes. The thing on the ground is not... It's not exactly like the Ica you've seen before. It has more substance, and it sort of begins to crawl towards you, inching along the ground.
Smash it with a rock.
You go up to smash it, and you hear something inside your head for just a moment before you do so. Do you pause, and you just go straight for the kill?
Actually, or would I have just put my head?
It doesn't appear to be English. It appears to be something, but it is something is trying to communicate with you. It's that same chanting tongue you heard what you know to be the Northlake speaking.
Ooh. No, I hate this. I hate all of this. I'm just gonna stick my face in the blue water and get the.
So you don't flatten it?
The heck nuts out of here.
Okay. It inches towards you.
You don't squash the thing.
You don't squash the thing, pointedly, right?
I think I'll put the. I'm gonna put the stone on the thing. I'm gonna drop the stone on the thing.
Okay.
But I'm not sticking around to see what happens.
All right. You
like
hear
it's
like.
Almost like an instinctive. You've seen some, like a real gross cockroach in a kitchen.
Yeah.
And you've just like picked up the flip flop and gone
Flatten the hell out of it.
Like it's instinctive, and I'm not going to stick around to see what happens. And I'm not listening to the voices. I don't care. I want out.
Get me the fuck out of here.
Gotta go.
You hear something beginning to crawl into your head. So it's like and then you slam the rock down towards it and plunge your head under the cool water. You inhale and it fills your lungs, and as it does so, you feel it react with whatever's inside you, and suddenly you lunge backwards as your stomach roils, and two liquids congeal into one and begin to encircle, and it's as if it's like just doing somersaults inside your stomach, and they're beginning to inch its way up and out of your throat. It's a violent affair as it begins to reach your surface, and you can feel something large, spiderous or slug-like beginning to fill the inside of your mouth.
Spitty, get it out, get it gone.
You open your mouth,
it gone.
see, and this one is significantly larger than the one produced by Dr. Parsons. It reaches out with a scream. You feel relief wash over you, and then feel yourself disperse. And when you wake again, you're in bed at the Potterton's estate, coated in sweat. George, this about aligns up with you returning, unless there's anything else you wanted to do.
I was gonna say the one thing that I might have done. I was considering trying to load up Miss Wentworth into like a carriage or onto a horse to take her with me to the witch. But so it would be funny if we woke up en route. But I think that
you're just like starting to like prop her up in bed and
well, in that case, so as you just before you wake, then from your perspective, James, you're there when suddenly she begins to like almost like twist slightly, and begin to like she looks as though she's going to vomit as she begins to wake, and then her eyes flutter open. She swallows deeply and wakes up, and the two of you can speak to one another.
Oh my god, Oh no!
You made it out. Did you find the water? Was it?
No, I found the doctor's awake. The doctor's awake. We've got to go see the doctor. The doctor just started saying something to me and then got out. I've got to find something. Oh my! The North Lakes, the new North Lakes. They're doing this. They're calling the things in there, the flying things with the tails and the weird little tongues in their things. They're calling them onto this side. We have to go.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll get us close. You'll have to go in. Come on. Well, prepare yourself. I'll get a carriage ready.
What do you mean? Can I have a dress?
Yes. I'll set everything up, and I'll go to prepare and get us a carriage. And yeah, excellent.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the carriage. And where are you bound? Where are you heading?
Doctor.
Dr. Parsons? Okay.
Dr. Parsons first. I want to confirm that he is in fact awake. Ask him what he was half saying to me, if you can remember, and then.
All right. So
there's just quickly. I will explain to you that I'm not welcome in Terryfit at the minute because of the aftermath of things. I suggest that I have a driver and carriages are okay. You take the carriage in. You do whatever you need to do with Dr. Parsons. I might still go to the Pendlehaven Woods, and then we can rally at the North Lakes.
Yes, none of us are going to be welcome in town after what I think we're going to have to do at the North Lakes.
Okay, well, I will meet you at the North Lakes after the woods.
Okay. You split up, plan to reconvene. We'll leave the two of you there as you prepare to start your session. We'll leave you there at the end of the session as you depart and make your way to different sections. Back with Miss Radcliffe.
Molly.
That's right, sorry.
Miss Radcliffe
Molly,
is dead, Dave. Move on.
It's over. Admit it. After some time, Baxter arrives. The others are not in tow. Or you see him coming a little ways off. The others are not there.
Volunteer to do all the digging yourself, Baxter.
Mole. Tom's asleep.
Righto.
No, he's sleeping.
Dead.
What?
He's asleep?
Tom's asleep.
Dead.
What do you mean? He's slumbering. Whatever you had them dig up, whatever that bore forth.
Mm-hmm. Just him then?
Yeah, but the others are with him. What did you have them dig?
It's not what they dug up, it's what we're trying to fix. This is what I've been telling you.
So, this will solve it. Whatever we're here to do.
100%.
What they dug up, that's what we're looking for another one of. Surely that's just make things worse.
No, we just sit here and do nothing. That's going to get everyone in the town dead and asleep in short order. Even if we try to turn around and run now, who knows, might come with us. This is what some of the nonsense in town have been trying to fix, and this is what I've been following around doing.
This isn't working.
It is not working.
You're leading. Arthur's dead. Tom and Dickie are asleep. You're not fit to lead. Now, I've told them to stay there and watch over him, because I still need people to do the exchange for the ransom when it happens. If more came with you now, they dig something else up and that fall asleep there too, then it's done. And the biscuit heels are down to none. So no, Mole, this is me telling you, it's done. It's over.
As it happens, what you're ransoming is me. Alright, so your whole plan relies on me going along with it, doesn't it?
It relies on you being a hostage, which I'm willing to see him do. And he's gonna throw some ropes across to you. Tie yourself up, or I'll do it to you.
You can have a go. My hand's on my knife.
He reaches across to his. You've lost
He's
your
gonna make
touch,
the first
Mole.
move. It's up to him.
Tie yourself up.
I'm not gonna.
Are you fully willing to fight?
If
What-
he
what-
makes the first move,
Can you
if
give
he's
me
gonna-
do you want
he's
to?
got to commit. He's got to commit.
He
you know.
seems willing to. He is absolutely willing to commit for it, unless you can convince him otherwise. You could try for an intimidation. You've done
I'm
pretty
going
well with
for
them previously.
intimidate.
Yeah, I think so.
just for like the steely eyes. Like,
Okay.
I will gut you. And
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm being earnest. Like,
I 100%.
I am a little bit panicked to hear that Ted is what I was
Ted,
saying.
sorry. Oh, sorry. It was only like
Rush.
I wasn't picking up on the
I
mic,
know, it
or
was
I
like
couldn't hear it.
It was
Sorry.
like the packet going across the network was too small. and he was
yes,
getting
sorry,
Ted.
you are right. It is Ted, not
if
Tom.
Ted's asleep, I'm actually, Molly's just starting to panic a little bit.
Yeah. It was also another one of the
Also-
ones that was chipped up and broken.
But also, what can you do in this situation? But
And
especially
being,
with idiots like these, is just stay the course.
and being tied up does not exactly solve it.
It does not further my goals. If I
And
were
you
to
go
be
ahead
tied
and
up.
give me an intimidation roll.
Yeah, I bet I can. I didn't think I could, but I did. Extreme success.
Oh my god.
You are keeping this band together through just sheer gumption and
I'm pointing out that he's the one getting jumpy. He's the one getting shaky.
He's absolutely
and
getting jumpy.
I'm the only one who seems to know what's going on and what to do about it. And so, yeah, that's what I'm trying to communicate by my steely-eyed gaze and just try it, mate.
the rope sort of like stands at your things, and he's got a hand on his knife, but he recognizes in you that same determination that you've always had, and his desire to risk a knife fight falters. Also, because even if he wins it, he doesn't have the ransom. But he's not going to go and dig up that other symbol. He's seen someone else sleep through it. And he's basically delivering an ultimatum of you're not welcome back with them until this is solved, or until you can buy your...
All right. I'll end my position. This time tomorrow.
At the tavern?
Yeah.
For the handover.
Yep. And then we'll see who's rich and we'll see who's dead.
Okay. Better luck then.
Don't need it.
He'll step back and away. And head on his way, back towards the woods. So it's a long trip.
I gotta find a shovel.
Alright. Then your plan is still to dig this one up?
Yeah. All I know, in the vague sense, since I kind of ran away from my friends, is that we need these symbols.
They are
in
times
the
like
four
they have.
corners.
Yeah, 100%.
Those are the
100%.
vague things I put together, and that is literally all I have. So, you know, and I've got the ransom, which I don't know isn't gonna
work. Yeah.
But I don't know that. I'm like, I got 2 eggs. I got
Yeah.
2 healthy-looking eggs. One of them could be a double yolker.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't know that. Yeah, one of them's rotten, and one of the baskets is missing.
Can you give me a strength roll to as you go to and set yourself to it? This is just gonna be about how much time it takes you to get it.
Of course.
Okay. I think there's other when
Not
it
all
comes.
night.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, you just set yourself to a task. That's kind of been Molly's character throughout it, of get it done. You
Girls getting it done.
Hell yes. You make your way through the field, through this deep patch, find yet another of these symbols, and move open the cairnstone. Going deep underneath it, you'll find another tunnel, very similar, and at the bottom of it, one of these pillars. As you do this, you'll notice evidence of this one being disturbed. The cairnstone comes away as though the soil has already been loosened, and when you get down into the tunnel, you'll find that the sides have been smoothed somewhat to make way. The pillar itself at the center, with yet another symbol scrawled atop it, has been not cleaned, but definitely scraped away with a trowel or something, so that it can be completely made out. You are not the first person to be here.
Yeah, in like recent times.
In
I'm
recent
talking, like
times.
in the last. I don't have much track, but What can I get?
You could try it. Yeah, you
Get
can
the
definitely.
sense of-
You definitely know this is like before it was close. Like it's been in the last, month or so.
Last month or so.
yeah.
That is fresh.
Yeah, like grass hasn't regrown over it or anything. You could try a track roll to get more insight into it.
I'll give it a go. What's the worst
Yeah.
that could happen?
Have a whack. Pass across the
Yeah, no.
sand.
Lucky
Other
7-7.
Okay.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
That's noticeable.
Unable to see how long it's been, but someone's definitely been here, not within recent history, at the very least. You have another of the symbols, and as you return to the surface, and we prepare to leave the session, the storm gathering over the woods to the south is continuing to rage. You see another bolt of lightning carved down from it, and it seems to be a sustained deluge of rain. Mr.
I was
Potton-
going to say, I think I won't smash this one.
Okay. Yeah. You step away from it. You can return some of the mud and things across the block so that it can't be found or won't be happened upon. And from there you can prepare to leave. Elsewhere, Mr. Potterton prepares to make his way to the woods himself and towards the gathering storm. And lastly, Miss Wentworth gathers a caravan of her own and heads into town. As you do, Emma, you are sitting in the back seat. You feel as though, at first you feel like happy to have woken up, feel a lot better about things. You're eager to see your fiance, to see how Dr. Parsons found. By the time you're approaching Tarryford, your mind has turned to your stomach, in which you can feel sharp pains, and it's as if you've you are quite unwell with very severe stomach bug. It's almost as if something's roiling around inside it.
Oh
I
dear.
think I did it wrong.
As you sort of
Whatever, I'm here, whatever.
that's it. You can feel this sort of thing, and at the very least, you're heading towards a doctor.
Hopefully.
We will park the session there to be resumed next week with our investigators scattered and storms gathering overhead. All right. Yeah, hell yeah. Seems like things are going well. We love to see it.
Everything will work out.
Yeah.
I want everyone to know quickly. I've got all of the symbols open in Roll20 placed in trying to get like a grid or something to see if all of them align.
If they form like a hash or
they
something.
do.
kind of look like that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. They don't
maybe.
not look like that.
Yeah.
It's a chance to study it next session. All right,
Exactly.
we'll park it there. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will pick it up same time here, same place next week. Hope we'll catch you there.
Bye everyone.
Ciao.